So this is my first time doing a recording of a demo review, so you're going to have to bear with me here. If I don't see something that's correct, I might just go off on a tangent that could be wrong, and I'll try to correct it at the end of it if I do notice it. But you're just going to have to bear with me. Shouldn't fall back this far. You should hold that angle that you're already holding. Just jiggle peek it if you're concerned about holding it, but you should be holding that one to get information. Playing back here, meh, not that great. Not that great in my opinion. Good kill. Looks like he went in there solo, so he should be punished for that, especially with no smoke for the CT cross. You're hearing people entering site, and you fall back into construction. You reload with 8 bullets left in your magazine, and now you're not helpful at all while your buddy's left alone on B site. Not a good play. Don't reload with 8 bullets in the magazine, and keep holding that angle to help your buddy out so you can set up a crossfire. Yeah, you're taking way too long to get back in there. At that point, like, either rotate to coffins or do something, but you're not helping while they're actively executing on site, and it's essentially one person defending B site right now. And then you guys just lose your duels. Shit happens. So takeaway from pistol, I would play that first corner on CT, jiggle peek it. Don't let them freely push up there without any information or any resistance. Don't reload with 8 bullets left in the magazine. Try to be somewhere where you can help your teammate. Totally fine with that. I'm totally down with stacking sites or doing any sort of kind of gimmick on save rounds, because you need to do those to win. This one, trying to surprise the opponent by hiding a ninja, but it's a pretty obvious pre-fire spot. I don't know if I made noise. This was fine. I think that's where I play a kind of shift walking in, because they haven't executed on site. You don't know if they could be archers, so you don't want to give away your position. So I think that's appropriate. Right when your buddy starts engaging, I think pushing and moving is the correct play, because you need to get there to help him. And good stuff trading. Nice. So you just heard his step, so he's like, so you know he's like brackets. Brackets is the top mid part. I don't think he heard you. But you need to be seeing what your buddy's playing or what your buddy is watching. I don't know. I'm not sure. Honestly, if your buddy's watching arch push, and you don't know which side he's coming from, then yeah, maybe don't hide secret. And I'm just trying to think what would be better. If your buddy's going to watch arches, how do you play A site? What I would probably do is honestly just play behind default those boxes, so you can kind of watch apps, and then if you want, you can jiggle peek quad. But terrorists, for the most part, they're not going to walk all the way past around A site to check the other side of those boxes by default. That was just unfortunate, you guys. Just happens. Okay, this one, round 4. Tried to push the smoke with the sounds I heard. Assumed most people were already on site, and hoping no one was still on B short. So I'm going to say this now. Whenever someone just kind of wings it when they throw a CT smoke, there's most likely going to be a gap. And you should punish a shitty CT smoke every time. Like, we're going to see it. I've already watched some of this, so I'm kind of doing this over because I messed up some of the recordings before. But I've seen multiple times that you don't necessarily punish all these shitty CT smokes they throw. What good players do is they see that, oh, you threw a crappy smoke. That what that turns into? It turns into a one-way for them. So right here, I would just kind of hang around that shitty smoke and just try to watch for anyone trying to make another cross. So you got killed by the guy in pool or grill or whatever you want to call it. When you push through, you got a kill. It's an eco round, like, not bad. I mean, you got 2 kills out of it. At that point, it's a 4v4. Do you wait with your teammates to get there to do a full kind of retake? And I think your teammates saw that bomb was down. 4 did. Whoever 4 is, Cole Collins. And you didn't hear anyone playing the bomb. So I don't think there's really like an impetus to push through the smoke. You can push through right when you hear them planting, because then you know it's like 3v4 technically, because someone's indisposed playing the bomb. So if you want to try to do that, you can do it that way. I think with the gap in the CT smoke, you just kind of hold that angle and try to watch to see if anyone tries to run past. There's also an possibility that the guy that with the op you just killed was watching that smoke. Okay, round 5, you said it's the repeat I tell myself never to do, but still do every once in a while. Okay, so you see there's a guy that kind of came out mid already. So he's already got the angle on you. He saw you came across, and so now he can already immediately be holding this angle. And you get shot from the guy T-ramp. So yeah, I think if you're gonna jump across, like you're just jumping across for information. Like bottom line, that's what you're doing. And so like you got the information that there's someone bottom mid. So that's good. You know where one person is and you didn't die for it. So I take that as a W. But you know, this happens a lot with I think just when it comes to a lot of decision making, you have this little voice in your head that tells you, you know, this is the correct play. Like you have an inkling, you're like, I know like what the correct play is, but the correct play isn't necessarily fun. Well, I'm assuming what your goal is to get better at Counter-Strike, and the fun part of Counter-Strike is being better than other people. So sometimes you have to do the not fun stuff to be able to win, or to be better, which is the fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like the immediate fun you have to kind of sacrifice in Counter-Strike because you get punished for it, so you can have the fun down the road. So it's like, oh, I don't get the fun within the first 10 seconds of the round. But it's like, oh, you might actually have your fun a minute later into the round. And you also had an op. And it's just a shame just to lose all that for essentially free. So round 6, not much to say. Okay, so we got an op with a full utility, diffuse kit, everything. You're juiced to the gills. I'm not crazy about ops holding quad in general. You can do it. You see people, I think like JW, do it pretty frequently. The thing with it is that you can get attacked from boiler and mid. And I don't know. The problem is like with it, like you don't have a place that you can fall back to safely. And it looks like you have a guy that's pushed all the way up in apps. And he's not even like playing boiler apps. He's pushed all the way into like the room. So this is one thing that like I think you should always do is just occasionally like you need to be looking at your radar, and you may be doing that already, and that's absolutely fine. But understanding where are the gaps in your defense and how and where can you play without getting shot in the back. So like here you can see your guy pushed up all the way apps, and I mean this guy who's ever on the T side number 7 could shift walk all the way through into apartments, jump down to pit and kill you because your guy decided to push all the way up into the room in apartments. So yeah. So now your buddy died. Now you have to watch 2 things. You have to watch, and 5 fell so far back off. He just gave up that angle. I don't know why he gave up that angle. He gave up the arch side. I don't know why. So here I would just like hop into pit. Pit gives you cover, and you can watch quad and balk like intermittently. And pit also is just a super hard area to clear. They have to full commit to pit to clear it. I think if you want to look at some pros who play pit really well, Magisk on Astralis, I think he plays pit. So if you find an Astralis Inferno game that you want to look at, just watch Magisk. Like, he's insane on it. And for some reason, your guy gets a 3K, which should not happen. Like, is that an eco? No, it's not even an eco. So there's no reason for your guy to get those kills. That's just silly. So this position, you can get shot from 2 spots, and it requires you to catch someone that you can't necessarily fully see right away on the right side, and to flick down and kill them. So this spot it sucks. So this is like one thing, I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet, but understanding where you can get shot from and making sure that you can only get shot from one place, and that's the place you're looking at. If you have to play a position like this, make sure you actually have good cover that you can kind of fall back to if someone peeks you from like the right side or something like that. Yeah, there's no reason to be chasing this guy. I just played the bomb. Like, all you have to do with the op, for example, is just go library and watch CT spawn from B. And then you just need to get... 5 just needs to watch, like, banana. Or you can just both double up or something. But, yeah, I would not go chasing with an op, especially if you have full utility. You're already kitted out to your gills and you only have $600. That's just a lot of money to lose for nothing. Okay, round 7, teammates did all the work. Did your guy throw a smoke? So I'm assuming he just smoked off alt mid. What the fuck? Hold on. I don't think that was a good play at all by him. I mean, he didn't get punished for it. They were on an eco, and he just was able to get some dumb luck on that. So if you have someone doing that play solo, I think you're playing back arches. Just back him up. Just watch smoke with him, or watch boiler. And so yeah, I think that's one thing. So you have someone doing an aggressive play. You just need to watch the one area they can get shot from. So I would just get up there and just watch the smoke with him if he's gonna do that. Or if he tells you not to follow him, then don't follow him, I guess. But whenever there's an aggressive play, try to back someone up with it. Okay, we're on round 8. Should have communicated with my teammate holding arch. Was trying to save utility until the 20-second mark. Congratulations on not re-peeking that. Like, I don't know what the fuck 5 is doing. Lemo or whatever, T-Lemo. Like, he's playing library with a guy that's already on Archer, so his spot's kind of irrelevant. Like, he can't trade if one dies, because they'd have to full commit all the way around that corner, so I don't know what he's doing. And it leaves you to watch boiler or quad now. Quad and arches. I don't know what he's doing. So here we're at like 45 seconds or something like that, 45, 50. You got full utility. This is where I think you can kind of start dumping it. If no one knows where a bomb is or anything like that, you can save it till the 20-second mark. But people generally aren't going to wait till 20 seconds to execute on site. These guys might, but that doesn't give you a whole lot of time to deal with any of the things that happen while you're trying to take a site, like dying or the bomb being in a bad spot. So if you want to slow them down before they even get to that point, if you're able to slow them down to where they have to wait, to where like the only time they can commit to site is like at the 20 to 25-second mark, I think that's a good idea, because a lot of pug players, like there's a lot of chaos that happens. So yeah, your guy just got a kill there. So he knows top mid, like he's holding that angle now, arch side. So I think they just got shot at. Someone died B. You have a guy pushing up the whole quad. So you don't need to hold that angle because one is already on arch side, so he's already there. Your guy dies quad. So guy dies quad. Just throw a smoke that banks right off that building right in front of you. Not smoke, flashbang, because you got 2 of them. So I would chuck one right there to stop anyone from trying to rush after they get a free kill. And then that gives you time to throw a molly if you want to do something like that. Yeah, this is plenty of time to dump utility. You're so lucky your teammate was there for that guy. Jesus. So I think this. Let me actually go back. Okay, so you missed your shot. What do you want to do now? So what happened was you spent 2 to 3 seconds kind of moving back and forth behind cover, thinking about should I flash, maybe should I re-peek, whatever you want. The problem is that you're being indecisive right now, so this is when it comes to your decision making. You need to just make the decision. If you have a bunch of what if, should I do this, should I do that, like you've already like squandered your time and your opportunity, so you can't do anything now, essentially, as far as utility is concerned. So you should keep your gun out. So like if you shoot and you don't want to re-peek that, you just immediately your nade needs to come out and you throw that just immediately like that, because those 2 to 3 seconds you use kind of walking back and forth and then deciding to pull out your flashbang results in this. Where you flash yourself because a guy jumps out of balk because you pulled out a nade. Now right here, okay, so good, you're throwing out a flash. What you can do if you don't know some of the physics of flashbangs is you can look up in the air. So if you look straight up, you can throw it straight up in the air. It flashes everything. So that's like easy number one. If you have a little bit of room to walk backwards, you can kind of angle it like at like a 45-degree angle or higher and walk backwards when you throw it, and it kind of lobs it and stops it from going so far forward so it doesn't go over their head and flash behind them. So I can only assume this kind of went behind the guy. Yeah, because I don't think he... yeah, I think that flash didn't work out so great. And the Molotov worked out. That's fine. I think that's just happenstance because you happen to survive long enough. Okay, round 9. Once again, trying to save utility in the last few seconds. Pulled out smoke just as a T-push, sadly. By the way, I do appreciate you like writing down what you thought happened, like in the moment. So I think your buddy just got shot jumping across. Good job on not re-peeking it. What the fuck happened B site? Like they just completely just like lost it. They must have said someone pushed through smoke, because 4 went back. Yeah. So this is an interesting situation. They lost bomb and construction, and you guys have control of CT and coffins. So while we have a little bit of lull time here, whenever you're running Speedway, you have to be careful. If you're trying to rotate and not make it known that you're rotating, but you also want to rotate fast, if there's anyone on the right side of top banana, so you see like where 0 is, he's behind barrels, he can't hear you. If he was more closer on the right side up against that wall, and you're just doing a preemptive rotate before they execute on site, they can hear you running on Speedway. So if you're trying to do a preemptive rotate or kind of cheat over to B prior to an execute, I would just take the route through CT spawn itself and not on Speedway. If you don't want them to know you're coming there. If time is of the essence, and then go ahead and just, you know, run that route. Good shot. The shit of like dropping your gun in the middle of a round and where there are T's just to pick up another gun is so dumb. That's such a dumb play. It's incredible. Okay, so we got a 2v1. So how do you win this 2v1 with a guy that has low HP and you have an op? So what can you do immediately? You have to watch... this is, I don't know. Honestly, no, I'm not sure. I don't think I would know this in the moment, but you have one guy in there because I don't think you frequently have a bomb down in construction in a 2v1. This situation I don't think happens very frequently. And just looking at it, what I would say is both you guys play behind sandbags and you just set up a crossfire. One person's able to watch the door you're at if they're at the right sandbag, and one person's able to watch the door on the left if they're at the left sandbag. Or I mean, to them, the door on the left, if you know what I mean. And honestly, you guys' are set up here, I don't think it's necessarily wrong. Like in the moment, this is kind of like, this is what you're not, maybe not necessarily critically thinking what your opportunities are because time is of the essence. And so like, I think this position, I mean, these lamps are fine. The problem is you have a guy with like 18 HP. So, I don't know. This is also those things where we're trying to minimize the areas you can get shot by. And the guy with 18 HP, I'm just like, I don't know. You can get shot right by his, like, they can see him and see you essentially, I think, in the same line. With how shitty that turned out, I mean, you even got your op shot off, so you still kind of had a chance. So what to take away from that round? Maybe a different position in that construction site. If you want to use utility, yeah, this I guess the main thing is if you want to use utility, like use it right away before they have a chance to move up close to punish you for it. Because this is the thing. If you have the thought about using utility, if you think to yourself, should I smoke something? You've already missed your opportunity to smoke it in those situations. Like it should be instinct reflex. Like you can't, like, anytime you spend a half second to a second debating whether to do something, you've already missed your opportunity. Like going into a situation, you should already know the steps you need to take. Because you don't have, like, when you're talking about when it comes to making those decisions in those like in this like split second decisions or mid game decisions or whatever you labeled them. Those decisions need to have already been made prior to entering the site or prior to that situation. Okay, round 10. Didn't see the third guy hiding in pool at all, so when he pushed me, I thought it was the CT guy. That right there was dumb. That was so dumb. Up, full nades, armor, kit. You have like over $6,000 worth of stuff. And you just jumped across after someone was on T-ramp who already shot at you. Like, just run around A site. You don't need to jump across again. So this is the thing where, like, if you're trying to do a preemptive rotate, be careful when running speedway if you don't want them to know you're there, you know. I think when I checked this earlier, the guy with the C4 couldn't hear you because he was spamming his Galil at the time, but I think he heard the chicken get killed. Okay, again, that looks like a shitty CT smoke. I would check the right side of it to see if you can see through it. And it looks like you already have a guy on site, and you have a guy's construction. Looks like he's going coffin. So you don't need to be coffins. You're not going to push through the smoke. You have an op. I think you just watch that angle. Good kill. Good kill. So what the fuck are your guys doing all the way back in CT? Because I think CT cross is smoked off. Hold on, I want to see how long your guys are back there. Okay, so they had just gotten there. At least 5 did. Yeah, I think that was just unfortunate. Okay, round 11, teammates did all the work. Yeah, I think that's fine. Your guy was being aggressive, you backed him up actually that time, so thumbs up. So they're on pistols, you can hear that. So they should be able to hear you guys running this melee. Okay, so now here we have the gap in the smoke. And we're not watching it again. And then you just run to where your guy is already at to stand in front of him, essentially. This shit drives me insane. Is when you're already there and you're holding an angle, and then someone rotates on your team to stand in front of you. It's like you essentially just made this, what the situation is right now. It's a 4v1, you know, but now you've made it a 3v1 because you eliminated your guy from being able to shoot. Like, know where your guys are and be aware of yourself.
Counter-terrorists win.
Okay, round 12. Shouldn't have re-peeked after first kill, got cocky. Look, another shitty CT smoke. Look, a massive gap in the smoke. Unfortunately, they actually flashed it that time. I don't think you need to fire a shot. Sometimes you get flashed like that. But I mean, I think it's... Maybe there's a guy there. I don't know. Maybe that's just a petty grievance. Okay, so you hear him planting. So, question is, do you take an aggressive peek and risk it when you're by yourself in a... Essentially, this is a 4v1 right now, even though you have 3 people alive, and everyone has a ton of utility. I mean, yeah, you have full utility. You have like over... Again, once again, you have over like 6 grand worth of stuff on you. So you take the aggressive peek, and you get the kill for it. Now, if that guy had an op, which I don't think he did, and he was holding that angle in new box where I think he just ran from, like, you're essentially dead to rights. But you lucked out in this case with that aggressive peek, okay? So the question is, do you continue peeking, or now you just even it up into a 3v3? Do you wait for your team? So they know where you are. You know a guy planted coffins from the sound. And you killed a guy in new box. And unfortunately you peeked into 2 guys who knew where you were. That might have been a lost round, like honestly. Right, if you waited a little bit and waited to see if your guy could get up banana actually, you probably found out he died banana, and it was then like, I think it was then like a 3v2 retake on B site with an op, which is not great. So you might have had to actually just fall back at that point and saved your stuff. Alright, let's see here. Round 13, I tried it to time it when I thought I would have crossed the arch and then pushed through smoke. Okay. Okay, so we got an eco going on here. You're smoked off. Alright, so far I think you timed this fine. You heard until you didn't hear any more footsteps. From what you heard, all the footsteps had passed top, mid, and turned to arches. That's good. I mean, you got a kill, and then you also did damage to the second guy. So I would take that as a W, especially on an eco. Yeah, you guys got that down to a 1v1 on an eco. That was a good play. So good job on that. So 14, not a great round. I tried to flash in my two teammates that were at garden from CT, but didn't time it well. Congratulations on not repeaking that. So this is what you know coming into it, that you guys lost B site, 4's at Coffins, and you and 5 are coming from CT. And it looks like 1 is pushed down, but he doesn't know that there's someone behind him. Okay, so now everyone's essentially died that needs to die. So now you guys have what? A 3v4. They actually smoked it decently this time, just probably by accident. So this situation right here, like 5's running into construction, and right here I would tell him, I mean, depends how long the smoke is, if the smoke's gonna bloom or not, but I would just boost him up over it. Yeah, I would have boosted 5. I was like, 5, come here, we're gonna boost you over smoke, because they haven't even planted yet. Alright, so now let's talk about the flashbangs. So where are you flashing? You are flashing in, it looks like the back left corner of B site. So if you are flashing for a teammate, you need to think, who do you need to be flashing that's an immediate danger to your teammate? So you're peeking, so your teammates are coffins, so they're going to be peeking and they're going to be looking at new box, first and second oranges. So if you're throwing a throwing a flashbang that's going behind new box and behind first and second oranges, it's not flashing the guys that need to be flashed. So essentially you need to flash the guys that are looking at coffins, so you need to flash in front of coffins. All this does, this potentially flashes your guys if they don't time it correctly. If they peek before the flashbang goes off, they get full flashed and they die. Best case scenario, this doesn't flash your guys, doesn't flash the enemy team, and then your guys somehow win the aim duels on a peak. So 1 guy died. That flash is a little farther to the right, which is better, but not ideal. Okay, so you're in a 1v2. CT smoke is clearing. It looks like they're re-smoked, but it looks like it might be a shitty re-smoke. So, yeah, I don't think you can do much about that one. Okay, round 15 was trying to play the MP9 strength, but don't think that position actually works. I'm just not crazy about this setup across the board. You got 3 people B. You have one person playing aggressive B with no one to back him up. The guy with the shotgun looks like he's playing CT, which is ridiculous. Yeah, so the setup B is not great. Your position, this is a one and done position. Like you'd be fortunate to get 1 kill and then get traded and then die. Like that, it's not ideal per se. So what would be the best position for an MP9 if you have only 2 people on A site? I think the guy who's 5, Letmo, he's got an M4. I'd have him play the corner of arches, and then I'd have you play up in apps. That's how you do it. Because MP9 close quarters, apps, high rate of fire. You can hopefully kill someone, get their AK, and dip. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Okay, so we have pistol round 16. Just didn't do well in pistol rounds in general. I normally actually am pretty slow with starter pistols, but kind of press them a bit too fast, I feel like, both rounds. So by pressing too fast, I'm assuming you mean just like spammed them. $18 bullet reload while running down mid. Don't do this. You don't need to. You got 18 more bullets. Like right now, running down mid now, it's a 4v5. I'm not saying you can't reload ever, but there's no reason to reload right now. You fired 2 shots. Once again, dropping your gun in the middle of a fight to pick up another gun. Guess what? You don't have a gun to shoot anyone right now. And unfortunately, you picked up a gun that has 0 bullets in the magazine. Good job. You heard him. You watched it. You killed him. I mean, you spammed it there, which I'm kind of like meh on. But he was also taking a fight with your buddy at the time, so I think the spam is fine. You just want to kill him. You just want to try to do as much damage as you can to kill him as fast as you can so your buddy doesn't die. So this is one of those things where it's like try to minimize the places you can get shot from. So you just ran through CT. You have a guy CT, and no one's cleared banana. And they must have told their other buddy that they're actually wrapping to B site through CT. So fortunately for you, their guy just like full hard rushed down banana at the beginning of the round, so he's completely out of position. But you can only get shot from banana, which you guys have not cleared. You just didn't win it. Shit happens. Okay, this one says, should have been being aware of the guy in CT apartments. So what I like to do is if I have assault rifles, or a rifle at all, or a scout, op, anything like that, when I go up on bridge side, if I'm going to try to play or cover apartments area, is I like to spam the window on the right side. Because you can spam that wall, and what it does is it puts bullets into the hallway that's in apps. And what that does is, I mean, I've gotten kills doing that like multiple times. It's not uncommon. It stops people from actually rushing down that and pushing up into T apps just as like a blind push. Oh, I read the wrong round one. This one says teammates did all the work, although that's pretty much how I default every round on Team Inferno. Okay, that was, yeah. I think they were ecoing, so now they should probably buy. Should have been aware of the guy in CT apartments. Okay. This is okay, nothing in the world, this angle. Now you hear that your guy has a Mac 10. That's just unfortunate. I mean, I don't know, like whenever you're retreating or anything like that, or trying to go somewhere, I think it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the area that you can get shot from. So you did this in a previous round on CT side where you were playing kind of up on quad the op, and then you were falling back to pit. And you walked backwards so you could watch quad, and you could also look at apartments if you needed. That was a good play. You didn't really do that here. You kind of turned. You turned and you're just like, I'm basically a free kill for anyone that is in apartments. And that's what happened. So I mean, what you can do is you can either just strafe to the right, open the door, and, and get in while still also watching apps. So just as a general rule of thumb, if you're falling off an angle or anything like that, you're trying to get to more cover, and there's no need for like doing it quickly, you can easily watch the area that you're falling back from. Okay, so round 19. Movement overall in this game I thought was worse than usual. Kept getting clipped by stuff. I was wondering where my teammates got killed from, hence why I got killed from explosion. So it seems like whenever you see someone kind of took your spot, you kind of had like this, you can tell you have like 2 seconds of thinking like, well, what do I do now? And that you should already decide. Basically, it's I think this is what I'm not sure if you watch. So I don't know if you watch any like professional Counter-Strike or anything like that. But I think I've watched way more Counter-Strike than I've actually ever played. And I think I have over like 2,000 hours between my Smurf and my regular one. But like Elige mentioned something on Team Liquid was that, a big part of how to play Counter-Strike is understanding protocols, or like, if this happens, then this. And you basically need to develop protocols for yourself, or at least that's how I operate. So if this happens, then this. If this happens, then this, etc. So like if I'm always going to default to bridge to spam like the wall or something, okay, I'll do that. If I default to bridge and someone is there, then what do? Do I push up apps, Or if I see immediately at the beginning of the round 2 of my guys who haven't talked to me at all said that they're going apps, then I need to go and cover somewhere else. So I think it's okay to check that angle. So if you're going to check angles, commit to the angle check. So put your crosshair right where you think they're going to be. Don't half-ass it. Okay, so I can only assume you called for flash, so good job peeking after flash. Honestly, after that flash pops, I would just full commit. I wouldn't like go back into boiler. So full flash, peek, like wide swing on it. If you don't see anyone arches, then I just do a 180 and you check quad. I think that's a good job. You your shoulder peek to look to see if there was anyone pit. Didn't see anyone pit. Throwing a Molotov. I think it's okay. Still could be someone pit if they wanted to recheck and you just happened to shoulder peek when they weren't there. So you could get shot doing this, but I think you did a little bit of prep at the best that you could. Oh, just as a rule of thumb, just in general, like peeking a corner with nades out, I just like people die constantly doing that. It just drives me up the wall. So what you can do is you can always flash a corner without peeking it, and then pull out a nade to throw it. So at least you flash someone off the corner, so you can throw like your Molotov or whatever, or your smoke. Okay, so we're in a post-plant situation. What do we need to cover? We need to cover apps. We need to cover arches / library. We can cover quad. And so you guys smoked off arches or library. You have a guy up in apps. And you're doubling up mid. So you have two guys in apartments. I'm assuming apartments is watching library or some shit. So you should hear 7 jumping around. So at this point, I mean, I'd jump across mid and I would just run. Even though like you can get shot from mid, I would still just jump across mid so you can run to arches and just take the safe way out, because that's where CT is. Yeah, that's just a loss of money. Because I mean, you heard the guy. You heard the guy when you were at quad. You heard him jumping around alt mid, so you know he's like mid. So you know he can't be arches or any of that shit. Alright, let's look at the next one. Round 20. No comment on this one, alright. So I don't know what the whole point of going up to bridge was if you're immediately going to jump down, and then you also just took damage for no reason. Like that was a waste of time on your part. Like if you weren't gonna stay up on bridge, or you weren't gonna push through T apps, like there's no reason to jump up on bridge and then jump down and take damage. So like know what you're doing, but what you're doing or why you're doing it before you kind of do it. Like, well, I always go to bridge. Well, why do you always go to bridge? So I understand having to take those steps to clear those corners, which is understandable. You just have to. Unfortunately, there's a guy quad, so he heard that. So at most he knows there's one person in apps. So before you did this, you flashed it. There was no one brackets. They played more passive back on A site. Now we're looking at a crossfire setup in brackets. So now you have a guy shift walking up second mid with bomb. Bomb's got a flashbang. Oh, what is your guy doing, Abs? Like so, yeah. And I can see why you felt maybe pressured to push out, because like the guy died Abs, so you need to make a play. But unfortunately, you kind of punish yourself for your teammate being an idiot. Sometimes you just have to cut your losses, and like that was just a dumb play on his part. So you can't put yourself in a bad position, like peeking into a crossfire without a flash or something. Round 21, my teammates kind of just pushed the site, and I probably should have waited before site was cleared before planting. Well, yeah, you only killed one guy on B site. There's usually minimum 2 guys B site before you started planting, and I don't think you guys cleared new box or anything like that. Um, so yeah, risky play. Luckily, you had a guy that was watching coffins and killed the guy. Yeah, I think you play that post plant well. Okay, round 22. Teammates did all the work. I'm not sure if I'd turn my back to that after I threw that smoke, especially if I saw a guy was pushing down. A guy's pushing down banana, and I threw a smoke and just turned away before it bloomed. Like, that's like people haul ass in this game. This scenario, honestly, you could probably just watch mid just from right this location. Just scope across and just watch him from anyone pushing up mid. You already have like 4 guys pushed up, and you know there's a guy pushing banana. I'm gonna kind of try to run through the end of these because I got somewhere to be here in about 10-15 minutes. So round 23 was going for library smoke. Curious on your thoughts on this one. Probably just watch it with the op. This is like one thing I said earlier was just peeking a corner with a grenade out in your hand and it's just a free kill. Like people commonly watch that position from library. And honestly, I'm not sure if you need it. If you already had a guy in default, and it looks like you had a guy in pit. So you got a guy default, guy in pit. It looks like you don't need a smoke library. I would just go back to quad and I would watch the arch side mid. Oh yeah, you had 2 guys up there? Yeah, people like if they rotate from B, like that library angle is hard to hit from where you're at compared to where they're at to hit you. Okay, round 24, bad round. Oh, we got an SG this time. There we go, we're spamming it. Not the greatest lineup for it, but you did spam it. You're jumping off and you're taking free fucking damage. Dude, like you're down to 90 now. M4s, one shot in the head, one shot you in the head now. Oh, and then you had a guy that lose bomb. Well, so you had a guy that lost bomb. You had a guy that pushed up A. You can maybe try to just wait and hold. You got a minute 20. See what next Hawk can do with his positioning. But that's just a shit round overall. I don't know if you had more than a flash. You could probably have thrown a smoke or something to try to give yourself something to work with. Just shitty all around. Shitty situation all around. I shouldn't say what you did was shitty. Stop jumping off fucking bridge and taking damage for free though. Cut that shit out. Round 25 didn't feel like I could do anything but save with full utility. So, guy died B. People know your A site. Yeah, I think this is fine. Like, you're not gonna get over $6,000 on if you lose. So saving with full utility and op when it's a 1v4. And what you did is you also took peeks to see if they were going to give you anything A site by checking graveyard and whatnot. I think that's appropriate. I don't think jumping out of fucking balcony into pit with an op trying to take site in a 1v4 is a good idea. I think it's you're just gonna waste money. So good. I think that was a good play. I think it was the only good play out of that, honestly. 26 lucky round. Good shot. I don't like this position as with an op. Like, you're basically entering site. Good shot. And you're basically peeking brackets so low with no flashbangs while you have two guys mid. Like, I don't know what your guys are doing mid. And no one's backing you up. I just think this is where aiming just wins all your situations. So, good job on that. Like, they didn't punish you for going up there solo with no flashes or, you know, any help. So those were nice shots. 27 bad comms, thought we had B site. Didn't this guy just smoke CT and you just threw a same smoke? I mean, maybe he smoked offense, we'll see. I think you guys double smoked CT. Which is a waste of a smoke, you know? Whenever, I mean, like I was standing logs and you saw him through a smoke and it looked like it was going CT. And then someone else threw a smoke for coffins. Oh, and no one's dead? It's a buy. No one is dead on their team. Like, you guys didn't even clear sight. Good shots, but like no one fucking cleared sight. They got onto sight and thought, oh, we're set. No one on their team died. And that goes back to what you said in a previous round where like we didn't clear sight. Clear sight before you plant the bomb. Round 28, I was ready for the fight but lost it. Yeah, I don't think you can do much about that one. He just beat you on the peak. "29 decided to hold library with op instead of smoking it. I assume it's better for me to hold it with op and someone else smoke it. Funny collateral though." I think you just, you dry peek banana without scoping in. I'm not sure if they told you banana was clear or anything like that, but that's potentially a free kill. Yeah, this right here, this is just dangerous. Like, no one went banana. No one has any idea if there's anyone top banana. If they have an op and they're just watching banana, like, you're dead. So if you want to peek that, you still want to go the route. Like, you need to, like, pre-aim it, essentially. I think spamming smokes is kind of dumb. Just in general. I mean, if you're the one... Hold on, I gotta sneeze. If you're the one preemptively spamming it, more than likely they're going to see your tracers and you're going to get shot, especially on CT side. And spamming it with an op's like kind of meh. Yep, that's exactly what you should be doing. Because last time you pulled out a smoke holding that angle and you got shot. This time you held it with an op. And I think that's the better play. I mean, you can hold it, have someone else smoke it. If you want to smoke it, I guess. There's like 2 or 3 different ways you can play this. But yeah, I don't think you peeking with a smoke in your hand from this angle is the best play. Good trade. Good job. Okay, last round. I knew the last guy was going to rotate around to outside boiler into short lane, but missed the shot. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but you need to break the glass on window every time in apartments if you have an op, because if you shoot someone through the window with an op in the body, it won't kill them. Good stuff. You're holding this angle with the op now. You died once with a smoke in your hand and realized maybe I should hold it with a gun. Much better. Yeah, that's whatever. Okay. Let me look at your message to say what you want to work on. So main thing you said you're struggling with is decision making. I don't think your mechanics are necessarily terrible. I think they're average. Um, I'm curious how you would play with a rifle, because this was all opping stuff. So I didn't get to see any sort of. I think I saw maybe a couple rounds with a gun, but this was all majority opping. But something you can work on. I say split second decision making and utility usage could use a lot of work, you think? So what helps with split second decision making is what I said earlier, is having protocols in place, or knowing what you're going to do before you enter the site, or have a plan. So whenever you're doing a retake or something, be like, before you're getting there, you're like, okay, it's retake. This is what I'm concerned about. This is the utility I have. This is how I'm going to use it. That should already be like, your utility should already have a destination and a time when it's going to be used. So that way you remove all of the critical thinking you need to do in the moment, where then it can just be reflexes and instinct. And if you have a thought about doing something, you do it immediately. Like my thing with like diffuses and shit like that. People like big brain themselves all the time when it comes to diffusing. If you're gonna diffuse, throw a smoke like a ninja diffuse or whatever. Throw the smoke down and commit to the diffuse. Be done with it. Because sometimes people big brain themselves and they're just like, oh, like he's just faking it or some shit like that. You know, I have so many just ninja diffuses because I just throw the smoke down and I don't overthink it and I just diffuse. So if some people don't think you're gonna do it, you just do it. Make them make the play. But so that's what helps a lot with split second decision making, is already know what you're going to do prior to doing it, so then it can just be part of the plan, essentially. And how do you develop that stuff? I mean, that just comes with kind of playing more in some game sense and kind of critically thinking about what you need to do in these scenarios. Like you'll recognize while you're playing, oh, I should have done this differently, or I didn't do this correctly. So what do you need to do prior to getting into another game to make sure you have a plan in place? So I don't know if you go into practice modes or anything like that. What I would do is I would just download the official maps from the workshop, get a practice configuration, and get in there and load up stuff so you know smokes, flashes. What I like to do sometimes is I like to do like one-man executes and see what I can do with a smoke, molly, and a flashbang, essentially, and where can I get with those three things. You know, how far into the map or how far to a site can I get, or what can I hold off with that. Utility, when it comes to dying with utility in hand, don't peek with utility in your hand. That's just a free kill. Don't think about using utility if you're in like a post-plant situation. Just do it. You know, the moment you have the thought to use utility, or like, ooh, I could do this. You're like, well, would it be better? Like the moment you ask yourself, like the moment you say, oh, I could do this or this in your head, you've already like wasted the time that you needed to throw that utility. And you saw that in a couple of your scenarios where you kind of like dicked around for like 1 to 3 seconds on if you should use a utility, and then you pulled out a utility and someone peeked you. So use utility if you're going to use it. Just use it immediately and be done with it. Don't if you're sitting there holding an angle and you're like, well, I could smoke this, like it's too late. You should just hold the angle. I'm hoping that kind of helped a little bit. I haven't done a ton of demo reviews. I think I'll try to upload this to like a YouTube as a private listing and then just send you the link or something like that. If you have any other questions or anything, just let me know. I'm just looking over your message again. I mean, whatever you use for sensitivity is fine. I mean, whatever you're comfortable with, that's the main thing. There's no like one size rules all. It's just whatever works for you. So yeah, I think big takeaways: don't reload with bullets in your magazine when you got plenty of bullets, because then you can't contribute. Peeking with grenades out. Doing something the moment you think about doing it, just doing it immediately. Don't sit there and waffle on it, because then you waste time. And I think a lot of like these split-second decision-making stuff, like I don't know if you're an anxious person, because some people with anxiety can kind of hit themselves with a bunch of what ifs, or I could do this, this, or this. They kind of like cripple themselves. so they don't do anything, just make a decision. A decision is better than no decision, so do it. And if it's wrong, then you know that's the wrong decision, so don't do it the next time.